I want to see them that size too, but you're defining success as being as big as Magic. That's what you're. Okay, you are insane. Your definition for success is too high.
All right, you ready?
So ready.
Ready?
So ready.
All right, let's do it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome to Metazoo be with you, America's favorite TCG podcast. I am joined by somebody who's in the fight of their life against kennel cough. Louis DeGeorge.
I love how all week this intro has changed as you've found out what you want to make fun of me for, depending what it is.
Nothing is better than you having kennel cough.
It's not kennel cough.
You have
I
parvo.
don't have it anymore. I had parvo.
No. We talked this morning and you were complaining about your parvo.
So
you have kennel cough. It's
now
all right.
we have to explain it to everyone.
Okay, Louis has kennel cough. I'm mocking him for having a disease that means he can't go to doggy daycare this week. Has that enough explanation?
Yeah, whatever. I don't want to get into it. You know this is a HIPAA violation, right?
I'm not a doctor. That's, I'll ask my doctor if it's a HIPAA violation. It's all right. My doctor is Louis' wife, by the way.
Great. Yeah, so parvo, I guess kids can get it, and it's just like a respiratory infection. Like for kids, like little kids. My kids didn't get it. One of my friends,
that part I did not know.
Yeah, one of my friends' kids had it, and I went on a run with them, and then I must have gotten it from him, just like from, I don't know, I guess being on a run with him.
Oh my God,
then,
you got kennel cough from not even.
So how it presents in adults is like really, really bad fatigue and like muscle pain. Like I can feel my forearms feel like I haven't worked out, in forever. My forearms feel like I worked out like for like the last 6 weeks. I couldn't get out of bed on Sunday. It was really bad. It was horrible.
Well, we're glad you're surviving kennel cough, buddy. I believe in you.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, another thing to make fun of me for, they told me that our kitchen won't be done till September.
That's less funny. That's what's less funny and way more funny all at once.
So anyway, welcome back to Metazoo be with you, your
America's fluttiest podcast.
TCG podcast. Today we have a fun episode. We're going to take a look at every game that we cover, that we talk about, and we're going to basically ask the question, what do we think that these games need to be doing over the course of the next 12 months to actually grow? And what do they need to be doing to grow in the next 12 months?
All right, so let's start off with a few things here. First, this is not because the Magic Historian destroyed Louis' life. This was planned before that. That's just a happy coincidence. Yeah. And we want to thank, dude, he's been engaging with the comments. Big shout out to Magic Historian.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's my favorite content creator.
Super fun. Yeah, super good time, super enjoyable. I can't wait to have him back next year.
We're gonna have him on every quarter. He doesn't know this yet. When
Magic the Gathering is no more, and Flesh and Blood and Metazoo are the number 1 and 2 TCGs in the world.
So that's a great segue. So
I think the reason that this conversation originally came up, though, isn't the Magic Historian, like you're saying. It's actually the new economic climate. Like things have now changed. Like now,
stop. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Hold on, boo boo. Here are the number of sets. Here are the sets that are above MSRP for Flesh and Blood. Alpha, Arcane First, Crucible of War,
Monarch.
No, it's not. It is not. It is objectively not above MSRP.
What's
anymore.
MSRP?
$100.
It's like $100.
It is like $100, and that it is like below $100.
Are people blaming this on you?
Why are they blaming me? I did my part. I have my bags. Me and Rudy have our bags.
What did Rudy
you
sell?
bozos didn't buy enough.
They're 116 on TCG Player. Oh man, sold this thing for $100 on TCG Player.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
And like, and here's the sets above MSRP.
Oh look, Compete Sport 121. Interesting.
That's how we do it. I'm 20% above MSRP.
There you go.
Here are the number of boxes above MSRP for Metazoo. Kickstarter, if you count it.
No.
And Cryptic Nation for Sedition.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And the other ones are significantly below MSRP too.
Way below.
Same true with Unlimited from Fab.
Yeah. Here is my point to this.
A WTR Unlimited box sold for $40 this week.
Yeah.
$39.
So like, this is why I wanted to talk about this, because here is my theory. Here is Papa George's theory as to what happened. These are both good games, in my opinion. The market certainly likes both of them to some degree. What I think happened is they both skyrocketed way too fast into banana pants territory. And now they're crashing back down. And the problem is this. Now these games, both Fab and Zoo, have to backfill in original demand because they didn't build it. They didn't build the demand. COVID built the demand. People were sitting at home bored. They're like, I have an idea. Let's do some cardboard gambling.
Yep.
And that works as long as they keep getting them stimmies, it's fine. But now they have to go back and fill the demand. And I think both companies are candidly struggling to do that a little bit.
Because the demand will never be as high as it was back in the middle of the pandemic. Sorry, that was a bad statement. In the next 10 years, the demand can be as high as it was in the demand can never be instantly as high as it was in the pandemic. It's going to take a lot of work to get there.
Here is I think what the hard reality is for both of these games. Go talk to Assad from Genesis about how hard it is to build organic demand.
Yeah.
To go to a card shop and say, will you carry my game?
Right.
No. Can I show it to you anyway? No. Pretty please. No. Can I get to a customer who knows you to tell you to take the game?
Right.
That's what Joey and Assad have to do every day. They have to go out and build organic demand. You're not buying Genesis for the tendies.
Right. You're buying Genesis because you like the game.
Because you love the game.
Yep.
Fab
and on top of that, because you love the game and you want to teach your friends how to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Fab now has to fill that in. And I will tell you this story. This is what happened to me this weekend. Uprising went bananas at my store. I believe it was the best release for any Fab game I've ever had. I think that's true. I think I sold more boxes of this than any other box in Fab history.
I'm glad you brought your best estimate.
The only exception would be I think I might have sold more Monarch. But that, I'll put it this way. I think people opened a lot more Uprising than they opened Monarch. I'll leave it at that. I give away tendies. And that's my point. So I was sitting at home on my couch. I think I was watching Practical Jokers, actually. And
favorite show.
America's favorite TV show. And I got a text from one of my local competitors. And he was like, hey, how did Uprising do for you yesterday? This was on Saturday.
You're like, so good.
And I was like, dude, this is bananas. Like, this is amazing. Like, what is happening? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Louis, I sold out. I didn't have a box left. I did not have a box of Uprising in my store come Saturday night. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, my release event did not fire because I had 3 people and I have sold 6 boxes.
Classic.
And like, listen, like he's going to drop Fab. This is his last Fab set, he said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him. But like, what are you going to do? Sell 6 boxes?
Right.
Like
the demand has moved into one store rather than 3 around you.
And that's because the tendies are gone.
Yep.
Fab has to figure out, and Metazoo has to do it too. Metazoo has their own path forward that they have to do this. We'll go in a minute. But for Fab, they've got to figure out, how do I build a community of Fab players at that store? And who do I have do that? Because frankly, the person who did that now works for Genesis.
Great. That was a great intro into now what we're talking about. We'll start with our first game, Flesh and Blood. What does Fab need to do in order to create actual demand for their product in this world? I'll start since you just went on a rampage. I think Fab has a lot of demand. Fab has enough demand to be a successful TCG. Fab has enough demand.
How are you defining success?
So, like, Let me just say, like, Fab has a critical mass of people playing the game. For the most part, if you are in a local area, for the most part, you can find within an hour of you somewhere to play Flesh and Blood. That's a success. You can't say that about.
I won't drive an hour to go anywhere.
You're wrong. Like, listen. I agree that it should be more than that. I agree that the goal should be more than that. But tell me another one of these games that we cover that has that.
I agree with that.
You can't do that for Metazoo. You can't do that for any other game other than Magic and kind of Pokemon.
Definitely Pokemon.
Okay, fine, for Magic and Pokemon. So, like, in that realm, you can do it for Yu-Gi-Oh! In that realm, like, I think Fab has a critical mass of players.
Suck it, Magic Historian. Continue, Louis.
Flesh and Blood, Flesh and what? Metazoo, Meta who?
So good.
Yeah, that was a great line. So, like, I think Fab has a critical mass, which is the number one most important thing for any TCG who is thinking about being successful. The problem is that the supply is here and the demand is here. Like, they have way overshot their demand, in my opinion. And I think the community too has overshot what is the demand going to be. And I have overshot what the demand is going to be. So now you need to say, okay, we have a critical mass. How do we multiply the critical mass? I think that is Fab's goal, needs to be Fab's goal. And in my opinion, the only way to do that, in my opinion, any competitive TCG player has probably already made their decision on whether or not they're going to play Flesh and Blood. If you were a competitive TCG player and you did not decide to play Flesh and Blood when Magic wasn't running events, then why would you start becoming a competitive Flesh and Blood player now? It doesn't make sense. Like, that critical mass of competitive TCG players is already in the fold. Now, in order to actually grow the game and to meet the demand, I think what's going on is Fab saying, okay, we need to print 125,000 Monarch boxes in order to, like, grow our company. You just saw the James White interview where he was talking about they grew their company from 12 people to 35. So they need to sell X number of boxes in order to support. Why are you shaking your head at me?
Go ahead.
They need to sell X number of boxes and able to support the growth of a game. So they make their money by selling boxes. That's how they make money. So, like, now you just need to figure out, okay, how do you get, in my opinion, what they need to do is work towards the casual player. They need to make Flesh and Blood not only the best competitive TCG, but now they need to make it a very, very good. I don't think you have to be the best casual TCG, but I think you need to be very, very good at it. And I think they need to actually promote it and actually advertise it as a casual TCG.
I know you hate the product because you're a bad person. The best product they did is the Blitz decks this time.
Blitz decks or Rhino versus Dorinthia classic battles. It's for somebody who loves the product so much, you may want to learn its name.
It's all the same to me.
I don't hate that product. In fact, I
one.
said the exact effing opposite of that. I said I love the product. They just jacked up the price for some stupid reason.
Should you get a wonderful Majestic and a cold foil card?
It costs them 0% more to print a Majestic.
I know. You're the only one that should be able to make money. I get it. So they need more products like that.
You're the worst.
The best. They need more products like that.
So how many casual players do you feel like Rhino versus Dorinthia battle deck classic battles? I don't even know. Classic battles has brought in. You feel like that has brought in
absolutely zero.
Why?
Because it brought in no casual players at my store. I can tell you that. It did not move the needle at my store.
Why?
Because they already had it. Everybody already had it. Everybody already played the game that bought it. I don't think it brought in new players for me.
I think it's because they don't advertise the game as a casual game. Everything that
I don't know about that.
Every single bit of advertising that Flesh and Blood does is to advertise.
What advertising?
It's all organized play. Everything they do is come to our event in Vegas, come to our event in blah blah blah, come to our worlds, come to our thing. Like, it's all competitive.
You'll be at Worlds, I know that.
I will be. So like, I think if they're going to do products like that, in order to grow the demand, they have to really lean into casual play. And they said this is article number 2 in FAB 2.0. So it's important to them.
We had an event at my store where you had to buy you had to buy one of the decks, and you got to play it with that night, and that was your event.
Cool.
It worked out well.
Yeah.
No new players showed up. It was all the old players.
So
like, I agree they need casual. Listen, I'll beat the drum one. I'll beat the drum again. They have to have somebody in the US. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to. And now they need somebody in Europe. Now you need both.
Yeah.
You know, went to 35 players, 35 employees is great. Get to 37. Get to 38, get to 39.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to run this you're not going to have this exclusively in New Zealand. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what they want.
That's too bad.
You're not going to get that. I mean, it's very apparent we're not going to get that.
I was on a call this morning for one of my startups. We have, I think, 12 employees now. Guess what? They're across the world.
That's not what they want to do.
That's too bad. If you want to be competitive, that's what it means to be competitive. It means to hire the best people wherever they are.
They came out and said that they didn't hire as a result of the not being able to import people to New Zealand.
Yeah, and that's not going to be good long term. You're going to have to have an international company.
Well, okay. I agree with you. May the zoo be with you. That's not what they're going to do. So
I actually disagree. I
think eventually they're going to do it. They're going to have to.
There's not going to be a choice.
Good. I mean, I agree with you. I think they absolutely have to.
Okay. I think they need.
This has been a conversation point for me all week. I've been hot about this all week.
I know, boo boo. You can tell me about later. It's okay.
Okay, get on, because I want to say something.
Go ahead. You are chomping at the bit.
Okay, so do you know that the thing that really expedited Magic the Gathering, what it was?
Was it a podcast?
What do you? Yeah, it was a podcast called "May the Magic the Gathering Be with You." No, it was
a Pokemon podcast.
It was Friday Night Magic.
Right.
It was the tool, and not just like playing your local LGS. The advertisement for Friday Night Magic. They put it in all the magazines. They put it in all the they advertise the idea of casually exploring, going to your LGS and playing the game. Not for rewards, not for cold foils, not for this, not for that, just for the love of the game. Go fight your friends, go whatever. They push Friday Night Magic in a very, very, very user-friendly, new player-friendly way that I think that LSS needs to adapt and adopt. And
so in my store, we have always had F&M, then Saturday Fab.
Right.
Like, stores should have a day of Fab. I think Fab should come out and say Saturday's Fab Day.
Yeah. But it's the way of which they presented it for Friday Night Magic. They didn't present it as come and win these cold foils or come and win these prizes. It wasn't presented as like a, hey, this is what's on the table. It was presented as like a, hey, come and explore the game and explore the community and explore the whole thing. It was like, when you come to your LGS on a Friday, you have entered the realm of Magic the Gathering. And like, that was such a great sales pitch. I remember talking to somebody who was in the room at Wizards of the Coast when they were talking about getting rid of Friday Night Magic. They're like, why are we promoting this? And their response was, that is literally what has helped our game grow from something small to something global, something massive, something big. So I don't know. I think using that, it's using that tool of Friday Night Magic. And
I disagree. I think the Armor Kit's great. I think the Armor Kit's fantastic.
I'm not saying the Armor Kit's not great. I think we always said the Armor Kit is fantastic. It's the way in which the armor kit is presented.
I disagree. I think that's nonsense, to be honest. Like the play mat, which is one of the big prizes, has to be random. You can't go to the winner.
Right. The community champion. That's right. It gets spiked.
I mean, like everything gets spiked now. I mean, like, what do you want Fab to do about that?
I don't know. I want to see.
You've been thinking about it all week.
Maybe it's just like maybe it's encouraging some sort of more casual armory event where like your armory event is a more casual setting rather than a place to come and practice for road to nationals.
I think that's up to the store.
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of hearing that.
Why? That seems like a reasonable thing.
No, it's not. Like, the stores aren't going to do it. Stores are not going to promote the game.
I mean, like, they shouldn't carry it.
Like, stores are not, you're not going to, in 10 years, if Flesh and Blood is a number 3 game, you're not going to,
you magic historian, go ahead.
You're not going to look at it and say that was because local game stores advertised for the game. That's not what
I'm saying. I'm saying that it's up to the stores how they run their armory kits. The new rules announcement I thought was a big step forward in this, frankly. Like, I think they're doing things that empower the local stores to run more loosey-goosey armory events. And that's good. Like, you know, whenever I play in the armory event, which is not very often, candidly, I'm always like, listen, man, I'm going to cheat because I have no idea what I'm doing, but let's have some fun. Yeah. And like, you know, I cheat. They're like, hey, you cheated. I'm like, oh, I'll take it back. And that's it. And I take it back.
My feedback is the biggest thing one of the biggest messages I've gotten over the last 5 months is I don't play anymore because every time I go to my armory event, I just get stomped by people who are playing the meta deck.
So I think practicing
for the next big the next big event.
Well, because let's be candid here. The biggest problem Fab has had over the last year is one word.
Starvo. Yeah, I get it. But my point is when the company promotes every big event, which is fine. I'm not saying the big events are wrong. I think that's why we're here today, is because those big events were promoted. I think that was fantastic. But if Flesh and Blood wants to move and adapt and grow into a more mass market, they need to stop promoting these massive events over top of promoting playing the game for fun with your friends in your local community. If you want the game to grow mass and be adopted by the mass population, it has to be played to be enjoyed at a local place, not just to practice for the next big competitive event. That's what
I agree. I just don't know if that should be on them.
Okay.
Like, I think that's something the stores have to do a little bit on their own.
Okay. Well,
like, I think they should, like, you know, I think they should encourage, they should have somebody in the U.S. to kind of encourage that. I think they should have somebody in the U.S. to kind of look over the records of these distributors. Like, I think those are important things. They have to figure out the balance issues. Like, those are things that they have to figure out.
Do you really think distributors are holding back products still?
No,
I don't think that's happening.
But I do think that, like, listen, like, you know this, one of the distributors tried to raise my price by $5 on release day again.
Yeah, that's fine.
I must have missed the joke.
I thought it was hilarious.
This is why your store is the way your store is, and the way my store is the way my store is.
I didn't get any boxes on that distributor, so I think it's funny when you get screwed over now.
I did not get screwed over. I told them I would not pay it. I was willing not to take the product. You're not going to jack my price up that percentage on the release day. I'm done with this nonsense. I'm done with all these. I'm done with all of this. There needs to be some form of like checks and balances on this. But like, you know, like, listen, like, you know, they need to add more distributors. They got to fix the balance issues. They got to figure out how to do LGS outreach a little bit better, I think. But like, you know, like, listen, like, Alan's GOAT, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah. All right.
Alan is the MVP of FAT.
We could talk for a long time on things we think need improved in FAT because we're passionate about it, and that's obviously
here we go. Do the caveat.
That's obviously
they haven't heard it.
No, that's fine.
Can you tell me about Cryptic and their different printing styles again, please? I missed that too.
We'll get to there.
Okay, good. I want to make sure I'm up to date on that. That'd be
all right. Let's talk about Metazoo. What does Metazoo need to do?
Metazoo has a darker problem.
Yeah.
Metazoo has to, like, there's two problems. I think two big problems. First is like, man, they've got to figure out their announcements. And here's what I mean by that. Do you remember when Nightfall came out and we were told MSRP was $140 because it was glow-in-the-dark boxes, and after that it would be at Carta Monday, and they charge more than the Chinese printer?
Yeah.
And that was the reason MSRP went from $100 to $140.
Yeah. And we sat here and we fought everybody who told us that that was still silly, and we defended Metazoo, and we said this is I remember that.
UFO will not be glow in the dark as far as I know. I know second edition wasn't.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't printed at Carta Monday. And I know Wilderness didn't glow in the dark. And I know it wasn't printed at Carta Monday.
Yeah.
The box has to go back to $100.
Yep.
It has to. It has to. Like, I think it's like, I think it's hard. I think it's hard. But like, if you're gonna, listen, if he had just said MSRP is $140 because it's a bigger box with more packs, fine.
It's not.
It is compared to Fab.
But not compared to CN1.
Well, that's true.
Like,
it depends on what you compare it to.
It's still
more packs in a collector booster box. So like if they had just said, like, listen, it's a bigger box than Fab. It has, it's more similar to a Pokemon box, which also MSRP is at $140. Like, well, it's a little stretchy, but like, okay, fine. But he said specifically because of glow in the dark boxes and printed by Carta Monday, the MSRP would be $140. He has to do one of those two things, or reduce the MSRP,
or give another reason.
No. I'm not going to do what you do, which is change the reason and change the story 85 times so you find one that hits.
I don't do that.
How is the Magic Collection you bought earlier today?
I don't do that. Stop it.
Do you want to tell the story?
No, I don't. We'll do a live stream with the Magic Collection. It's gonna be
can I be on one?
No, you cannot. Yes, you can be around. You just can't talk.
DM me for the story.
So, all right. What's your second thing? Let me say this. I agree, and I want to piggyback off of that. If you would have told me a year ago that Metazoo would still be basically only announcing things in their Discord server, I would be like, no, that's absolutely crazy. Like they will have a website of which they post their announcements and whatever. He's working on that. Like, that's got to be like updating his website. Like, I think Metazoo, part of that announcement thing, I was trying to find the partner to figure out when we can do pre-orders for, and I had to dig through like a Discord announcement channel for like 18 minutes trying to find the announcement. And it's like all that stuff I think also needs to go onto a website, like, so it's outside of the Discord.
I agree with. I mean, we'll talk about map at the end of this because I do want to talk about map for both Fab and Zoo in a minute when we're done with Metazoo. Yeah. I also listen, they have got to get rolling on this TV show and this video game.
That is my number one thing.
Like, because demand for them will come from expanding the Metazoo universe. Whereas Fab, there is no universe. Fab universe is a game. That's it. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Metazoo universe is NFTs, it's promos, it's pins, it's backpacks, it's stuff.
It's the IP. Metazoo is an IP without the IP right now. Like,
I disagree with that.
Well, like, it's got it, but it's all based on, like, they haven't shown how they're going to really do the story. We have the comics, but
including one of 3 9.8 first edition comics.
There you go, baby.
That one of us has.
I have one too. It's just not graded yet.
So you don't have one of 3 that's 9.8. That's congratulations.
Mine's going to be 9.9. Mine's going to be 9.9.
Well, that grade doesn't exist, so that'll be great.
It doesn't exist? How does 9.8 exist?
It goes 10.
Oh, they don't do like
I don't think numbers? They do the even numbers.
What do they have against
numbers.
Odd numbers?
They don't like odd people.
Huh.
So
and they want to send you your stuff. So
they didn't. I bought it used. I bought it secondhand.
I agree.
For way too much.
I think the video. I think I probably anticipated we'd see a video game or a TV show.
I thought we'd see a teaser.
Yeah, some sort of game.
A 30-second clip would go a long way right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they've got to get rolling on this stuff, man. Like, Like both Fab and Zoo have to start making strides.
I would say the same thing about Fab for PvE. I'd like to see some like
take your time on PvE, James. All right, take your time. Take your time. But I mean, like, listen, like Magic is here. Pokemon is pumping out set after set of goodness. Yep. You don't want to be left behind.
I do have to say the Magic historian's comment about how Pokemon started resonated with me a lot as I was looking through Pokemon this week because of the Pokemon movie. I forgot that like the Pokemon movie basically kickstarted Pokemon in the US. Like you had McDonald's promos, you had all this stuff that like everyone was excited for, and that was like basically the launch of Pokemon in the US.
And the same thing can happen with Metazoo, but it's got to get done.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Baby, give me a teaser.
Yeah,
they've got to, like, both these games have to start rolling. Like this is going to get like this is going the wrong direction all of a sudden
because people get bored, and yeah, people get bored, and there's a million other things.
People get impatient. People are like, listen, there is like, here's the problem, man. It's like this week is Double Masters.
So
Pokemon Go was last week. Like, there's all this stuff. There's my. Should I take this as an employee of mine?
No.
All right, you're done. Louis sends his regards.
I just dissed a call him. I think it was a call for the store. So this is nothing's more important than this podcast.
That's not true for me. That is
true.
My other podcast is more important to me.
Oh, stop it.
Shout out to Jordan, who taught you about Genesis. Continue.
My other podcast is also more important to me.
That was the worst take. That was the worst thing and the dumbest thing you've ever said.
That's not true.
You said that first Double Masters was worse than second Double Masters.
Say, did you forget that?
No.
I never said the first Double Masters. I said the Commander Legends. So
that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Gosh, you're so wrong today. It's so funny. Listen, so I think the IP, like having it out soon, is essential. I think people do get bored because remember we used to say you're never going to get bored of Metazoo. They have a new product every day. They have a new whatever. Like now their products, you see like the rug.
Like Louis, like this is where they have to get serious. Did you see the 4th of July promo?
No. Yes.
You're a partner store, right?
Yeah.
I'm a partner store, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not for this episode, but for right now, I am. And like,
gosh,
listen,
to get banned.
That's all right. I'll survive. It's like, I didn't get offered those from my store.
So,
like, I've had like they have to start. Like Metazoo asks a lot from these LGSs. They got to start giving a lot.
We still don't, like. I think that I don't care about the barbecue promo. I think I do. I think the promos are fine. Like that's fine. You're not like begging LSS to give you the cosplay promo. Like I think that's fine. That didn't bother me. What I think is like, and I have no problem with the rugs. I think the rugs look really, really cool. But the rugs,
I'm getting one. I'm absolutely getting one.
The rugs are not like new, like there's not like new rug collectors. It's not like people collect rugs and they're like, oh cool, Metazoo has a rug. God, let me go. It's not a vertical.
They're like the rug collectors are going to come out of the woodwork and destroy you.
Like I used to see all these things as verticals. I saw Pin Club as a vertical, as like people collect pins. Like that's a vertical. It's going to bring new people in. Like rugs is not a vertical. It's just
it's merch.
It sits horizontal on the ground and you step on it. Like it's not vertical. I'm joking. I've been working on that one all week.
We're done. All right, y'all. It's been a great episode. Maybe a great series. May the zoo be with you. I'll be back next week with the Bone Zone.
So I think people are bored of new products. Not only are people bored of it, but the tendies are gone, and every new product is Topps boxes are $25. So well, like
that's the thing. It's like, my God, man. Like there's two things here. First, focus on the products.
Yeah.
Like this more than anything else with Metazoo, this is what frustrates me. Focus on making the best quality product you can.
Yeah.
How are Topps boxes weighable? Again. How? Top sells $10,000 boxes of Flawless.
Okay, we already did this. Come on.
We didn't last week, so you're wrong. They can figure this out.
Okay.
Focus on the products, man.
Yep.
Drives me crazy.
I know.
Drives me up a wall.
I know, and I had to hear it for like 3 weeks. I agree.
I love Metazoo stuff.
I know.
Why?
Listen,
they've got to focus on this stuff.
Can you get your wife to give you a hug or something? Like
my dog is giving me sweet kisses.
This is getting kind of sad.
I just like both these games. Here's what makes me angry. Magic Historian could be wrong, but right now they're both companies are doing what they can to prove him right.
Yeah. Listen, Fab 2.0, I still think is looking good if they do it. Like what I was saying about the casual play, they said Fab 2.0, they said casual play is important. We haven't seen a freaking thing about it since. We saw a comment or ban list. That's it. Like
I like that. That was fine, except for Ball of Lightning.
That's like no, Ball Lightning had to go. I want to see more. Like I want to see.
I am flipping you off in my head. I want to make sure you know that.
Actually lean into casual, and I want to see Mike actually lean into IP, not just say. I want to see them actually do it, and those things are essential for the growth of the next year. All right.
Okay.
Next game.
Let's talk map. Then I'm gonna get my coffee refill.
Oh my gosh, are you gonna yell? Like we gotta keep going. This is 36 minutes. We got a lot more games to cover.
People love it. If not, come back next week. I don't really care.
Why do you hate map?
I've had enough of your tone.
Why do you hate maps?
Okay. So here's the problem with map. You can't force honest demand.
Sure.
Like Prodigy Games, I think has UFO, I think at $90 now, maybe $85. They are not an official retailer for Fab or Zoo, and they sell way below map on both.
Right.
Toy Wiz, I think it is, has it $90 now. Here is the point. If you want your box prices to be high, you have to do one of two things. You either have to restrict supply or build demand. You can't force a floor. It will not work.
Yeah.
There are too many desperate stores who live release to release. They can't afford to sit on these products. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
If it comes down to losing the license for Fab or Zoo or paying rent, they're just going to drop that game and go back to Magic and Pokemon.
I was talking to a store who got a notification from Jasco about being under map for My Hero Academia, and they were like Louis, what do I
didn't know there was a map.
They were like, Louis, what do I do? I'm under map, and like I have to sell the boxes, so I'm just like not going to take the game. Am I getting in trouble? I'm like, you're not going to get in trouble. You're just not going to be able to like get more boxes. And like that's like I think we forget, and this is why I like talking to the Magic Historian. We forget that we are so enamored by these games. We're so in the world. If I got in trouble and I couldn't sell Flesh and Blood or Metazoo for some reason, money was fine, but like it would be frustrating to me. Like I love the products and I want to sell the products. Like I want it to be part of my business and my YouTube channel. I want it to be that. But for the vast majority of people, especially those who are selling on TCG Player, they just don't care. It's just like another product that their distributor told them to take, and they took from their distributor, and like now they're just trying to get their money back for it. Especially with Double Masters, where it's like free attendees are back for Magic. So
back on the market, boys.
Yeah.
God, Kane's chicken is the best chicken, by the way.
All right. That was random.
Chicken tenders.
Oh, gotcha.
That's all they serve is chicken tenders.
All right. You going to go to the bathroom?
No, we're going to refill my coffee.
All right. Let's go.
God, you're edgy today.
I've got people working in my yard.
Well,
like
they're going to be there for the next 3 months. You got to relax.
Thank you. All right, let's go to Magic the Gathering. All right, so
what do they need to do? Keep going.
I think this is fair. Magic has had some absolutely horrible sets this year. They have Crimson Vow, the other
Wasn't
Midnight
that last
Hunt.
year?
It was like the last 12 months. We've had some bad Magic sets. Commander Legends Baldur's Gate was horrible. I can't believe you thought that was going to be good.
I forget. You and Rudy both said not to dump it. Is that right?
I said I wasn't going to dump it.
And you said that Rudy was calling me out for dumping it. Is that right?
He was calling stores out
for dumping. Yeah. Now I can now buy it on Amazon for $30 less than my distributor cost. Is that right?
Sure.
No,
okay.
I'm sorry. That's not even true. I believe it's actually $50 less than my distributor cost. You were asking me
why I was in a bad mood. You are insufferable today.
I'm great today. We talked like for 4 hours today.
Your pride today it's like through the roof. It's through the roof. I feel great today. You're prideful about how prideful you are today. It's crazy. Oh my God,
look at this. I have like 80 messages. Like, people stop.
All right. So I think
are you gonna cut that?
No, I'm not cutting anything. I think Magic
you just being mean for no reason.
I think Magic needs 2 more really, really good standard sets. And I why are you shaking your head?
I'll go over this in a minute. Go ahead.
I think they need to lean into what they did with Kamigawa, and they have the opportunity here, where they have newer areas that haven't been explored as much in Magic's history. So you have Dominaria, where we've seen some one big set, but some other exploration. But then the Brothers' War, which is like another new thing, right, that we haven't really seen done. And then they put in those super chase cards. And if they include something like those neon foiled cards, I think then like you can't touch Magic this year. It's untouchable. Absolutely.
Here's what Magic needs to do to win the year. Not go out of business.
Why would they go out of business?
They won't. They're going to win this year. Like, this is easy. I think Dominaria is not going to be as good as people think it is.
My money's on Brothers' War. I've said that since the beginning, that's going to be the hottest set of the year.
You're wrong about that, but that's okay. You think it's going to be hotter than Double Masters?
No, hottest standard set. Sorry, gosh, I have to like qualify
about standard sets. So like
they cared about Kamigawa.
That's true. Listen, I think Magic can win harder or less hard, but Magic's gonna win this year. Magic.
They're back with OP. They're back with big.
Yeah, I mean they're just I can actually do stuff again. And I think there's gonna be some type of agreement on that Alta Fox situation that will make it even better. They got to even the stupid Fortnite secret layer that they announced this week. You guys are all shaking your heads. They're going to sell 1 billion of them. They're going to sell 1 billion of them.
Listen, one of us plays Fortnite. One of us really enjoys Fortnite.
Whatever game does a StarCraft 2 crossover,
they win.
They win. They want. I'm on. I want Zerg promo cards. I'll play your game.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I think Magic, though, I am cranky. They have kind of in some ways lost some goodwill with LGSs with Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. They have. Like, stores are frustrated just because you're not frustrated because you dumped. Like,
you bozos should have dumped.
Like, some stores are frustrated, and I think things like not printing any of the the good double masters, a couple of the good double masters cards in Commander Legends Baldur's Gate was a mistake. I think they need to, if they really want to grow and really want to see the LGSs thrive, they need to have some better communication with, like, they basically I know I'm just learning this and I know I've seen it. They basically just don't care at all what their community says or thinks or feels. Like, it's like they don't even,
my sweet beautiful butterfly.
Basically, like, pretend like it's like the community says something and they do this like completely other thing and they're like, look how great we are, we listen.
So here's what I will tell you. Here's the hard truth. Like, they think they know best, and here's the hard part. They might. There's a reason that we're both they're gonna win.
Yeah. They just have the critical mass size. That's like
I don't think it's just that. Like
it's a lot
an
of that.
accessible game. It's an easy game.
A lot of people disagree with your comments there. I've been chatting about.
Who disagreed with this? Name names.
I think Magic is not as easy as you make it seem. I do think Magic kind of self-plays, right? You can't play a card for 8 mana if it's in your hand. It makes if you're on turn 3, right? Like it makes your decisions easier because of the mana system. I think the reason Magic is easier to learn is because there's far more people to teach you the game.
No. Like it's easier to learn because it's an easier game. There's play this green card. You can play this green creature.
I mean, at a basic level, yes.
Yeah, that's the game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Magic's boring. Magic's gonna win.
What's frustrating is it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
There are paths to victory.
The path to victory is taking over the LGS.
Yeah.
I think the thing that Flesh and Blood, in my opinion, showed us in the last 2 years is that the LGS can be taken over. We've seen LGSs get taken over by Flesh and Blood.
Mine still is. Yeah. I still have more players for Fab on Saturday than Magic on Friday. Here, and this is what drives me crazy about some of these comments. Like, oh, well, they'll just leave the LGS. Magic and Pokemon are not in the LGS because they love me. Right. It's because I'm profit maximizing.
Right.
They make more money by having me than not. The second that changes is the day they kill me.
Right. I agree.
So, all these games need the LGS. Some just realize it more than others.
Well, and I think my point is that if you had a big push from a company that did have people that were your people fell in love with the game, and then you got really connected. Not everybody gets as connected as you. And it's hard when you don't have somebody in the States, is what we're talking about with Fab. If you had somebody in the States to help get these LGSs more and more connected, then somebody could take over a larger amount of the LGSs in the country. But I still say if you're not carrying Flesh and Blood or these games now, you won't be. You've made your decision now. Yeah. The big time to enter already happened. If you said no, it's going to take for the most part. I mean, there will still be more stores. You'll still hop on, but for the most part, you've made your decision now, especially in a recession. Just the way the truth is. So, all right, Pokemon, you need to make more cards like Ditto that peel away. And you need a whole set just of Ditto cards where the Ditto peels away and it's Charizard in it. The Charizard peels away and it's Ditto. I love it. It's so cool. I want all of them. What else do you think? Pokemon, Pokemon's great. What do you want?
I told you not to include them on this stupid list. I don't know why you're asking me for. I don't know. I told you not to include them on this stupid list. I said we should discuss something different for Magic and Pokemon because Pokemon.
You win.
What does Pokemon need to do to win? Stay in business.
You win. You win. Pokemon, you're doing great. All right, let's talk about Legions. We have Legion spoiler cards first. Let's talk about Legions, and we want to spoil 2 Legions cards for another spoiler. I already did a spoiler, but I have 2 new cards to spoil. They're not actually real spoilers. They're kind of different, but they're cool to talk about. So I want to start with Legions first. Legions enters the realm for me of card games that need to decide how big they want to be. And I think there is a realm of TCGs that can be very, very small and that can grow 5, 10, 15 stores a year and still be successful for what success looks like for them. It doesn't look the same as maybe what you would define as a success, or Magic the Gathering would define as success, or Flesh and Blood would define as success. But you can be a successful TCG and be in a smaller number of stores if your goal is to just be a TCG and to just continue to what Genesis did. I hate that because you're not giving me anything.
Tell me you failed Econ 101 without telling me you failed Econ 101.
Okay, what's the goal of Econ 101?
You learn about economies of scale and economies of scope.
Okay, what are you saying? All right, instead of
so I guess we don't know what those words mean. So economies of scale, for those of you who failed Econ 101, like my good friend Louis here, apparently, it is when you have...
I never took Econ 101. Let's just
is that true?
When would I have taken that?
College?
You know that my degree is in youth ministry, right?
Did not make you take econ?
I doubt it. Very much doubt it. Listen, college, didn't do much in college. 4-year degree. I have 100% of my youth ministry degree. I have 50% of an early childhood education degree, and I have 85% of a music production degree.
And 100% of Parvo.
So Econ 101, not something that would be in my world.
So basically it says this. The bigger you are... It's
great that I own a business now.
You're doing great. The bigger you are, the cheaper stuff tends to get.
I get it. I agree. Okay. Yeah. That's basic economics.
Would you simmer down for 1 second and actually learn for a minute? I know where you're going
with this, and you're not listening. Continue.
You can have 10 people run a $50,000 a year business or a $5 million a year business. Your costs stay relatively the same.
Okay.
All that goes up is your profit.
Okay.
These games can't stay small.
Yes,
they can't. It's not the way markets work.
Okay.
They have to grow. They have to grow or they have to die.
I disagree.
Then you're wrong. Like, this isn't hard. Like,
you only say that because all you think about is money and businesses that grow.
You have to stay in business. That's true. I do think about staying in business a lot.
George, you think that in order to stay in business, you have to make $300,000 a year or $400,000 a year or $10 million a year. You can stay in business. Numbers. You can stay in business and be a person who creates a fun card game. And as an individual, your business brings in $100,000 a year, $75,000 a year, whatever it is that pays
but you can't do that in 10 stores. That's my point.
Yeah, but
you can't do that in 10 stores. You pay more for shipping. You pay more for production. You pay more for everything.
Totally.
You can't be in 10 stores. It doesn't work. It's a math problem.
You can,
and I don't care how much Louis' wishful thinking wants it to be so. It's just not the way the world is.
I disagree. Look at board games. There are board game designers.
Oh my God.
Stop it. There are board game designers who design board games. And what? You got so angry you popped your mic.
The Lord had my back and didn't want me to hear your nonsense.
There are board game. I didn't say it. So the Lord has failed you. There are board game designers who come up with board games and they have other jobs on the side. It's a passion project of theirs that the games last forever.
You can be in 10 stores and have it be a hobby. Congrats.
You can have it be a small business. It can be a small business and it can grow from there. You can have it a small
business that constantly loses money. That's a hobby.
In order for Legions to grow, they just have to stay small. They have to not print too many boxes that they go in bankruptcy. They have to be able to, they have to basically print to demand. And as long as you're printing to demand and you're able to sustain the creators and the people who are within the company making things, as long as you're profitable and you're not going into debt, the game can still grow into the people that love. And on top of that, you also have the internet, which is a great way to grow things and to create communities. In 5 years ago, I would have said you can't have games like this because there's nobody to interact with the game about. If I buy into Legions, I can now go on a Discord server like KitchenTableTCG or the Legions Discord server, and I can play the game with other people. 5 years ago, you couldn't do that. You could only play the game with your friends. You could only play the game with the people around you because you didn't have the technology in order to enjoy the game with other people. And I think games like this can be successful now in 2022. Flesh and Blood has shown that you can have online communities and actually grow and learn how to play games.
Yeah, until the pandemic ended, and now those numbers
that didn't go away.
But it greatly declined.
Sure, of course it declined because you can also play in person. That doesn't mean that you can't play and enjoy the game with a large number of people.
Between online or in person, you're going to pick in person. Most people.
Yeah, 100%.
So you got to get in more stores.
Yeah, and you can do that. You can still do that. But you don't need 150 stores is what I'm saying.
No, but you need more than 10.
Sure. But you have to start with 10.
Sure. But your point was that you can stay with 10, and I don't think that's
my
true.
point is that you can go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 30. That was my point. That was my point.
What you said.
That is word for word what I said. God, you are insufferable. You are
This is Louis fairy tale hour now. I have no idea what league agencies do grow. Like they need to get I think they need to do more outreach big time to LGSs. Okay.
What does that look like?
I mean, honestly, what they need to do is call Assad and be like, how are you growing the game? They need a Joey. They need a Joey. Okay. Honestly, they need what Joey did for Fab for free.
Yeah.
That's what they need. That's honestly, if you were to ask me one thing that all these games need, they need a Joey for Fab during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need. They need a champion who's like, this is how you can carry the game. This is what you need to do the game. This is how you grow the game. That's what every game needs. And the problem is listen, Assad was the only one smart enough to see it.
Yeah. Even Fab didn't take it.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Going back to Fab for a second, to your point, they won't hire him in the US. If they won't hire Joey, they're not hiring anybody. At least not in the short term.
Yeah.
They need somebody who's going to champion the game and make it easy for stores to carry.
Oh. That's
because you can't be in 10 stores. You can't. The math won't work long term. I promise you.
Right. Nobody is saying that that's the way that it is. Nobody's saying that. That's not what I said. You're arguing with yourself, with an idea that you created in your head that somebody thinks that a game can be successful with 10 stores. That's what you're arguing. That they're not even trying to get into more stores. That's literally what they do. Is this the right camera?
Probably not.
Hey, look, there's my hand. Here we go. Ready?
Why do you have two keyboards?
This is my Mac keyboard, and the other one's my PC.
Why do you have a Mac and a PC?
Because I edit on a Mac and I shoot videos like this on my PC, my gaming PC. All right, so this is super cool. These are two of the exalted rares, the rarest cards that you can get in the booster boxes of the next set, Frontiers for Legions. Now this is cool. These are cards that have already been spoiled and available previously, but now they are available in the booster packs. Number one is the Boundless Riptide. That you'll like these, George. You love cards that are bountiful or generic. In Legions, these are called bountiful cards. They can be in any deck, so you can put them in any deck and do whatever. So the Boundless Riptide is it was the buy a box promo for the last set, but now this card can be pulled in the booster boxes of Frontiers. You consume and you draw 2 cards. Super strong. Card draw. Always good. And then the other one that you can pull in the booster pack, George. So when you go to open your Frontiers that I'm going to send you, you can search and try to pull a Louie, the life of the party. You can pull me in a booster pack, George. Aren't you excited? You can pull me in a booster pack.
I was told they have to be nice.
Aren't you excited to do that? You're stoked. I know you can't wait to pull. I love how mad you are about the fact that you can pull me in a booster pack.
It makes no sense.
It's cool. When this warrior enters play, all players draw 2 cards, which is cool.
Unlike you, I'm forgiving.
This card's super cool in the multiplayer, when you're playing with a bunch of people. And that has charisma, like me. I have charisma.
Oh my God. Tell me about my pride again. I missed it. Can you tell me about my pride again? I forgot some of it.
When this warrior enters play, the controlling player can play Bloodborne 5, so 5 life, to conscript a warrior from their hand. So you can basically get to conscript another player or another warrior. And then it has perish, so when it dies, you bestow +1 to all warriors on target player's side of the field. Really cool card for multiplayer. And there's a lot of people who are testing out some multiplayer variants for the game. And it's really cool. They built all their cards to have multiplayer in mind. Which is really cool. So formats are kind of starting to evolve with a couple of play groups. So 2 of the exalted rares that you can pull in the game, and the exalted cards have the foil swoop, the gold foil
That's great. So now we just need Cryptic to let us spoil a card on the podcast, and we've got the 3. Everybody but Fab and Zoo has done it for us now.
Yeah, of course. The 2 games that we talk about the most. So, super cool. I'm like super. I think it's really fun. I can't wait to open boxes and pull myself in a box. I think it's gonna be really cool. Genesis. What does Genesis need to do to grow, George?
They're growing. I'm not worried about Genesis. Genesis is the game I'm least worried about.
Why?
They are doing the hard work of growing the game that these other games now have to do. They are doing the grunt work. They're doing the real work. They are reaching out to stores. They are growing the game. They are teaching new players. They are hosting events. They are doing things that you do to grow a game.
Sure.
I am the least worried about Genesis of any of the games.
I think I see Genesis like that. The same. I agree with everything you said. I see Legions. I see Cryptic. I see Genesis. I see.
I'm in on Cryptic. They haven't produced a box yet. Maybe we can give them a minute to produce a box before we're like, they're doing everything they need to do.
All these companies are doing that. They are reaching out to content creators. They are reaching out to LGSs. They are doing organized play kits. They're all doing that. They're all doing that.
How come you think Genesis has had more success then?
Because they've been around a lot longer. Like Genesis has been around for like 4 or 5 years.
Like Genesis is doing the hard work that these other that everybody else needs to be doing.
Yep, and I mean like hiring Joey. I mean that is
like they've hired the right people
for an owner to say, okay, I'm gonna take and put money into something to like.
And Assad's a big boy. He reached out to Joey because Joey said something mean about Genesis.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Like these other games need to stop being so damn sensitive and listen to some fair criticism.
And then change their game based on like almost exactly what the critics said about them.
Yeah. I mean, these other games need to grow up. I mean, like, I'm not worried at all about Genesis. Yeah. Genesis is the game I feel most confident in. It's also like, frankly, it's probably the most polished game.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, I don't worry about Genesis because I know what's happening with Genesis.
I think
Genesis will continue to produce good set after good set. They play test the daylights out of it. They bring on people who are critical of the game so they can help improve it. They do the things right. That's why I don't worry about them.
I think Genesis is also one of the most unique of the TCGs that we talk about, in that their game is completely different. Like it's a grid-based game. The only thing, I mean, sorcery is kind of coming up very similarly to it. It's much different, but like it's unique, and it goes into this world of non-TCG that the other TCGs can't really get to. Like board gamers like love it. So good stuff. What I think they need to do is to start reaching out to more like board game, and they're already going to like some board game conventions, but to lean into that. I would love to see. I don't know if I've seen them on what's that board game reviewer that reviews the famous not Board Game Geek, but there's a YouTuber that reviews board games. I'd love to see them do. Is
he so around?
Yeah, Tom Vassell. Yes, yeah. Like I would love to see them on like something like that.
God, I want you to know how proud of me I am. I have not watched a Tom Vassell video in a decade.
That was impressive. That was really good, George. You're some positive affirmation for you. You're doing a good job. You've been
very mean to me this episode.
I'm a little on edge too.
You're hiding it well.
I don't hide anything. Do I come across to you as the type of person that hides their opinions and emotions? It's been a terrible week. I'm sorry that I took out my energy on you.
It's okay. I'm used to it. It's like our conversations.
Anyway, I would love to see them lean into that world, because I think they're leaning into the TCG world really well, and so to start leaning into the like board game.
I somewhat agree. Like, man, like I just like you talk to Assad, you talk to Joey, and man, they just get it.
Yep, I agree.
Like I don't like. I have more confidence in them than any other game.
But again, here's my point: Genesis is not going to be a top 3 TCG, a top 4 TCG.
Give me a time frame on that.
They're not.
Ever? You're wrong.
Listen,
You're wrong.
I think Genesis has a lot of I don't think I'm not saying anything bad about it. I just don't think that that's what it is, and it's fine. It can still be a very, very successful game.
It's going to be a long road for Genesis.
I don't think Genesis. I don't think Genesis's goal is to do that. I don't think that's their goal. I think they want to be a successful.
Assad, put in the comments below if that's your goal or not.
I think his goal is to be a successful, growing company. And I think you can do that without being the winning TCG of all time and mod to 1K and every box be you can just be a successful company without being the next Yu-Gi-Oh.
You can't grow perpetually without becoming one of the big players though. Eventually you have to get there if you're growing every year.
Yeah, sure, but I think your definition of success is so high for these poor.
I want these babies to succeed. They're my children.
They're succeeding. They're gonna succeed. They're doing okay. They're doing great.
A lot of them are going the wrong direction, and you know that.
Sure, 100% agree. I think for Metazoo and for Fab, that's the conversation. They have to be this big because they have put their eggs in being that big. If you climb up a ladder, there's a lot further to fall. Some analogy about ladders.
What is going on with you today? Next time, can you please take a nap before this podcast? I mean, this is unbearable. You're just so far you've done nothing but be mean to me and make terrible analogies and then lie about what you said.
I did not lie. I said 5 to 10 to 15 to 20. Yeah, anyway. I think you're just the games don't have to be that big.
Google stroke parvo risk. Just asking for a friend.
All right.
When the parvo comes up, it's nothing but pictures of dogs for kettle cough.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst. All right,
parvo causes stroke. Hold on, I'm asking Google. Oh god, this is depressing. What did I Google this for? The answer is yes if you have sickle cell anemia.
I want to talk about Cryptic. I think one of the coolest things that Cryptic is doing is in their wave 2.
So help me God.
Putting in new chase cards that are different than the wave 1.
All right. I think that's really cool. Here is what this is serious. I actually have serious advice for Cryptic, despite your nonsense.
Okay, wait. Is your goal for them to be the top 3 TCG? Because if
yes, that's
how
my goal.
How many 3s do you have?
I want Magic to die. I'm coming for you, Magic Historian. So I mean this. Listen to me very closely, Tanner.
Dear Magic Historian, everything you've ever done is worthless. All right.
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready, baby.
Okay. They need what has made me the most cranky about some of what Metazoo has done is they've repeated the mistakes of Flesh and Blood in some cases.
Yeah.
Gold foils created a hard ceiling for what cold foils can be worth.
Yeah. Agreed.
And there's only so much you're willing to play for a game that's 10 weeks old.
Right.
So all you've done is decrease the value of the chasiest chase cards in existence.
Right. Agreed.
And then he did that with the playtester cards and these NFT promos and these other things. Samples were supposed to be the cards.
Right.
Then he was like, promo everything. Everything is now limited.
Come here. Get up here. Get up here. We never get to see my dogs.
Does he have Parvo? Don't give your dog Parvo.
Hey, buddy.
Oh my God! Wait?
I don't know.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Wait. Can humans, if their dog
I don't
Parvo,
think that you can. I don't think that's how it works.
How would you know?
Because I'm more experienced than you.
Okay.
Everyone's on the edge of their seat.
Parvovirus is only contagious between dogs. Humans and
Yeah. Okay. Great. Good boy.
It does not transfer to dog. All right, you're okay. You're good. You can't transfer Parvo to your dog.
So can I make out with my dog like you made out with yours?
I love my dog. Give me 3 kisses. That's fine.
All right. So not following the same mistakes.
So everything can't be special.
Right.
Everything can't be limited.
So like if you have a different wave and you put in different specialty cards, that's a win. I don't know if you know this, but that's what Cryptic is doing. That in wave 2, the cards are you there? Do you know this?
Not spiritually.
Did I
so
tell you this already?
Like everything can't be limited. And I think both Fab and Metazoo have now proven that.
Yep.
When everything is a special edition, when everything is limited, nothing has any value.
And then you have to get rid of what is supposed to be special, which is your first edition.
Right.
Which is what both of those games did, because now Metazoo doesn't even have the second edition.
I mean this. Like, think about what the EV of a wilderness box would be without Prism Auras.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like the most expensive card other than the Green Man and the Prism Auras, like $4.
Yeah. Okay.
You've got to keep value in your boxes.
Yep.
And Fab has done a different mistake in that sense, right? They have made their boxes too cheap and their legendaries too expensive. You need to figure out what price you want a deck to be and then work backwards. That would be my biggest advice to Cryptic. Figure out what a reasonable price point for a good deck will be. Then figure out how many you think you have to print to get there.
Yeah.
Keep the special things special and keep them consistent.
I agree.
Making rarer and rarer and rarer and rarer and rarer versions of the similar cards decreases the overall value rather than increasing it.
Right.
There is a hard limit to what people will think a card in a new game is worth.
I agree. All right. My thing? Can I say my thing?
Go ahead, Boo Boo.
So I think Cryptic is primed for being like, we've seen this kind of like a Fab leaned way heavier towards the players now, right? Like Fab 2.0 very much a player driven thing, and then Metazoo still very much towards the collectors, but then both of them tried to like fight and be on the other side, and like Metazoo tried to do all the stuff with the players, and now Fab's like cold foils are harder to pull. Like the announcement when they announced that WTR Unlimited was out of print, they were like, oh, and you'll be able to get some boxes at your LGS that'll be new demand for your boxes that'll be at your LGS that's out of print for the WTR what was the event, the return to WTR, the farewell
to Wraith.
Yeah, the farewell to Wraith event. They're like, hey, this will be great, go to your LGS and get these newly boxes that are now in demand again because we just recently out of printed them. Anyway, so Cryptic has the opportunity to basically be like, we're going to find the balance and see where both games didn't succeed and then find that balance. And I think things like their booster decks, they're doing all these tournaments, right? They're already working on draft, and then the booster decks, which is a really cool, like, they're basically pre-constructed. They're basically like a sealed deck that's like algorithmically, there's like 50 different of them, whatever. So I think leaning into that stuff for their OP, and then allowing the collector market to really thrive, but keep your game cheap in that way, where you have like the sealed formats being kind of the pinnacle of gameplay, I think is a really cool direction that can really help bridge that gap between players and collectors and like excite people. Because those booster decks, they can actually get those printed very quickly. And then you don't have to include the booster decks in your sealed value thing. Like your booster boxes can be collectible and the cards that you pull from the booster boxes can be valuable and whatever. And then you can have your booster deck product be different. So I think that's a cool thing.
And also it goes the right distributor, which I like.
Yes, they did. I know. I'm super excited for Cryptic. I think they're like, I think Tanner's making some really good moves. And like, again, I don't think it has to be a big 3. I think it can just be a successful TCG. That's my.
Okay, Tanner. I hope your goals will be in 4 LGSs. I think you'll do great.
That's not their goal. That's just where they currently are.
My point is that they won't be there, Boo Boo. Simmer down. God almighty. Google, can Parvo make you extra cranky? God, more dog pictures. This is the best. This is the absolute best.
All right.
Like, and this is where, like, as much as I have been harsh on Metazoo this cast, this is why I still think, like, if you were to ask me, like, which one has the easiest path to top 3, I would still say Metazoo. And it's for one reason. It's the only one everybody talks about.
God, I think I'm realizing for you,
sorcery,
you're
Cryptic.
You legitimately think that one of the 10 games that we talked about today will be in a top 3 in the next like 5 years.
Yeah, at least 5 of them will be in the top 3.
Like, I think all the games.
You don't think any of them are going to be in the top 3?
I think this year will tell it. Like, obviously, if Metazoo comes out with the game and the movie this year, I think that can happen. If PvE is as good as James White says it is, I think that can happen. But this is the tell now, and like, I think you are underestimating how much success can happen in the 5, 6, 7 range. Like, the owners of Force and Will still enjoy making the game. I bet they're probably like.
Tell that to Final Fantasy, which just basically shut down.
Oh
and Final Fantasy was a decent sized game.
You love talking about Final Fantasy.
It's like they shut down.
But they shut down because they like that IP costs an arm and a leg.
Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
That IP is expensive.
Stop.
What? This is the same reason that My Hero Academia will fail, because the IPs are too expensive.
That is not why My Hero Academia will fail.
It's too much overhead for the companies. Yeah. These games
Card Fight Vanguard, Dragon Ball Super. Like, these are not like, they all have to like get serious now, man. Like,
I think they're fine being where they are.
No, they can't be. You're growing or dying.
They can't. No, they can grow without being massive.
Not long term.
6 or 7%.
If you grow long term, you're massive.
Sure, in 30 years. Like, I think you're just like, your opinion about the games is so tightly wound on if they're going to be the top 3 or not. And I think you need to do some soul searching and understand that they can still be successful without being as big as Magic the Gathering. You're going to be so disappointed.
They can't be successful and not be as big as Force of Will. They got to get to Force of Will.
I have no clue how big Force of Will is. I would say Fab is as big or bigger than Force of Will. You don't think Fab is bigger than Force of Will? Really? Really? That's a hot take.
You think so?
Yeah, that's a hot take. Fab
bigger than Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah. I do.
Could be that big. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Force of Will.
I would say Fab is probably like in the top 4 TCGs right now. No?
That, be hot. That would surprise me.
What's bigger than Fab?
Force of Will.
No way. There's no way that Force of Will is bigger than Fab.
Does Force of Will tell us anything? I'm trying to pull this up. God, I know nothing about Force of Will at all.
So, like,
what's their last set?
If you look at Card Fight, like, there's just hardly any of the cards on TCG Player. Like, the volume.
I understand that.
The volume is way lower. Like, there's no.
I'm not saying Card Fight was bigger. That was not what I said.
I'm looking at the other games that are on TCG Player's main page: Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Card Fight, Dragon Ball Super, and Flesh and Blood. Those are the main page of TCG Player.
The last set of Flesh and Blood that sold above MSRP printed 35,000 boxes. That's the hard facts. That's the hard facts.
Do we know how many Dragon Ball Super boxes?
No idea.
Interesting.
Flesh and Blood can't print more than 50,000, 60,000 boxes.
I agree with that.
My guess.
I agree with that.
and stay above MSRP.
Yeah.
How many players can you have at 50,000 boxes? Not many. 12,000? 10,000?
I think it was 25,000. Like, that seems like a decent number of humans to me. You can create a good size company and be relatively successful in the TCG space with that.
I think that is true. I think Fab could stay this size for a very long time and be fine.
That's a success. It doesn't have to be as big as Magic the Gathering. That's probably top 4. That's probably top 4 or 5. Yes, it is.
I'd be surprised for that. But like, that doesn't matter. Like, here's my point. And this has been my point the whole time.
Gosh,
Fab is a... You shut up. Fab is a better game than Magic.
Uh-huh.
I want them to win. You're not going to win with 15,000 players. You got to grow it. You got to grow it.
Cool.
Like, you got to.
Again, you don't have to kill Magic. You've got to stop. It's exhausting. You don't have to kill Magic to be successful.
You have to be the size of Magic.
There's no way. No.
I got the faith. James White, I got the faith. He'll be on next week. He can tell us about it.
Sure. Great.
God, he ain't coming on with you. You're too damn cranky this week. Good Lord, are you cranky this week?
I want to see them that size too, but you're defining success as being as big as Magic. That's what you're... Okay, you are insane. Your definition for success is too high. It's too high.
No.
Yes, it is.
I believe in them.
You are, in the words of the Magic historian, oh, you've got bags.
I do have bags. I got bags of both.
All right. Well, this has been great, everyone. Thank you for watching.
God, you're going to do some editing this week.
I'm not doing any editing.
Yeah, I'll take that bet. You're going to rewatch it, and I'll bet you do some editing.
No. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you.
Yeah, oh, wait, say that last part again for me, Louie.
Remember to be kind to the people around you, and the only way that your friends are a success if they are as big as Magic the Gathering. Goodbye, everyone.
You didn't even say Metazoo be with you.
Metazoo be with you.
Wow.